Today I'm going to talk about the real issue with online courses and gurus. And yes, I know for you keyboard warriors thinking, Jordan, I'm pretty sure you have an education business. That is very true, I do. But that actually makes me somewhat qualified to talk about this topic from both sides of the fence. And I'm also someone that very publicly has spoken about the fact that I do not agree with so many of the common business practices within online courses, and I loathe the general direction that this industry is moving in, and we're going to move on to that later on. But one thing you absolutely cannot tarnish me with is the title guru. I am not your guru, and I do not want to be. I'm an ordinary guy that's had some success in a business model. I have a secondary business where I teach people how to get involved in that model while still working in the same model that I started off with. I'm not a guru, I don't want to be a guru, and anybody who claims that title can keep it. Okay guys, that's that covered. But for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jordan, I'm 25 years old, I'm from the UK, I launched a digital marketing agency in December 2017, had some modest success, I documented that success on YouTube, you can go back and watch that, and I'd actually spiraled into owning a second business, an education business, where I taught people about sales and about marketing and how to replicate that business model. Now I'm suddenly submerged in this industry. I'm submerged in the online education industry, an industry that actually I don't particularly like. And that's pretty ironic. It's not the business I don't like, but it's the industry and the morality and the ethics behind the industry that I do not like. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, the biggest issue with this industry, because actually it's somewhat of a trend right now. It's actually popular to start calling people out and to find fake gurus, entrepreneurs, okay? These are a couple of terms that you may have heard, and I'm certainly not denying the fact that those things exist. They absolutely exist. It's one of the main reasons why I want to make this video and why I dislike this industry so much. There are people out there, and we'll talk about what a fake guru is. There are people out there who teach people how to start a business or teach people something through an online course and info product who have absolutely no credibility whatsoever, and they're teaching absolute bullshit. And that's not okay, because the customers in online education are people that want to better themselves. They're people that want to improve their life or get out of a certain situation. So if you are the type of person who can prey on an individual in that position, somebody who's desperate to change their life, then as far as I'm concerned, you are the lowest of the low. So what defines a fake guru? Okay, because I think it's really unclear. And I'm going to talk about, in my opinion, what defines a fake guru, somebody who doesn't have the credibility to be teaching other people how to start their own business. A fake guru is somebody who doesn't practice what they preach. It's someone that doesn't work in the business model that they're actually teaching. You can't teach someone, for example, throwing something out there, you can't teach someone how to start an Amazon FBA business if you've never successfully launched and maintained an Amazon FBA business. And even if you did that once, right? If you're not doing it today, then you don't have any credibility, because times change, things change. You can't teach somebody based on the success you had a number of years ago. So if you're teaching somebody how to replicate a business model specifically, then you need to be working in that business model, because you need to understand the inner workings of it. So that's one thing, okay? You need to be actually practicing what you're preaching. Now, another thing is the backstory. It's the rags to riches story. And it just so happens that the majority of successful people do actually have a genuine, authentic rags to riches story. And it's not a coincidence. It's purely from the fact that when you go through shit in your life, when you drag yourself through the mud, when you go through dark times, you're forced to make the biggest changes. Changes that you would never make if you had a happy, normal lifestyle. So it's not a coincidence that successful people have a rags to riches story. But fake gurus recognize that and they leech to it. And they make this synthetic backstory, which makes people relate to them and makes them feel like they can pull themselves out of the dirt just like their guru did. And if you can do that, you are a disgusting human being. If you can just create this false backstory to make people feel like you've gone through the shit just so they can relate to you and buy your products. And this is where it gets really, really tricky, okay? Because it's really hard to fact check somebody's backstory. Unless they've said one thing in one interview and another thing in another interview, and you can cross-reference and you can catch them out, or you go all MI5 on their social media and look through all of their old posts or whatever. It's hard to actually find this stuff, okay, because they're going to cover their tracks, but it's something that you want to be mindful of, okay? You want to be mindful of somebody's backstory and the fact that people do adulterate their backstory. It's actually really strange because I did almost quite the opposite. It was not until recently that I actually covered up some of the really shit things that went through in my life because I felt vulnerable about those things. But yeah, it's fake backstories. Fake guru. The third thing on my fake guru list is testimonials. It's real results. It's whether you sell an online course or an online program and you are actually helping people be successful. You are actually creating successful businesses, people that have implemented the stuff that you have taught. You've got testimonials. This is really key. They need to have testimonials, and good testimonials. If they're just starting off, then it's a little bit harder because they're not going to have them, right? But if they're an established online course and or an established guru and they don't have testimonials, they've been around for a long time, massive red flag, okay? That means it's not going well. It means that the stuff that they're teaching does not work. So you need to look out for testimonials and actively reach out to people who have taken the course or worked with the guru that you're trying to learn from. Speak to the people that are really successful, but also speak to the people that have just had their first taste of success within that program. From both sides of the spectrum, you really need to fact check and do your due diligence when it comes to testimonials, right? So it's the combination of those three things to me which encapsulate being a fake guru. But I think there's a big difference, and it's really important to highlight the difference between being a fake guru and just being an unethical marketer, using unethical tactics. And this is something that I think a lot of these YouTubers who call people out, which in many cases is necessary, people need to be called out on their bullshit. But a lot of them miss out on the point that what defines someone as being outright fake and just being unethical. Because one thing that people like to highlight as one of the things that contributes to being a fake guru is just marketing strategies which have been around for years and years and years and years across hundreds of business models, right? And one of them I want to use as an example is a free webinar. So many people say that if you have a free webinar, then that's a red flag, and that's going to contribute to the fact that you may or may not be a fake guru. But in my opinion, there is absolutely nothing unethical at all about hosting a free training online. If you are transparent about the fact that whether it's live or it isn't live, if you deliver on the value you say you're going to deliver on, so if you say you're going to teach XYZ, you better teach XYZ, and you're transparent about the fact that there is a pitch at the end of that free training, web class, webinar, whatever you want to call it. The issue is that 90% of marketers do not do that. This is the problem, and this is why webinars and masterclasses, all the people call them random things because they're trying to get away from the fact of the stigma, right? The issue is that 90% of people out there, online courses, gurus or whatever, they don't be transparent, right? They say they've got this free live webinar when it isn't live at all. They host these webinars every half an hour, every single day, right? Every single week for an hour long every single time. So you're telling me there's a guy sat behind a computer doing an hour-long video every half an hour. The maths just doesn't add up. They're not live, okay? And so the problem is you're selling to people when you're building an audience based on lies from the get-go. Does that make you a completely fake person? No. Well, you might be if you have a combination of the other things. Does it mean it's a fake webinar or live webinar? Absolutely yes. Does it make you unethical? Certainly. You can't lie to people and then sell to them. That's not how business works. That's not how good business practice works. And you're just deceiving people. It's not okay. That's unethical marketing, right? But there's nothing wrong with a webinar or a free live training if you are transparent throughout everything, because people know what to expect. They know what they're going into. As long as you are delivering the value, you're telling them whether it is live or it isn't, and you're being honest about that, and you're letting them know that there may be a pitch at the end of the video, there is nothing unethical about that because you have full transparency throughout the entire thing. So that's the whole kind of fake guru thing wrapped up. I don't really want to linger on that topic. And I think it's really important that you do your due diligence when you are trying to work out who you want to learn from, who you want to take training from, who you want to watch YouTube videos on. Do your due diligence. Do your research and make sure you look into that person, you fact check that person beforehand. I'm not saying waste hours and hours and hours and hours of your time going full on MI5, right? Looking through every single bit of detail you can find about that person, trying to find dirt, okay? Because you often try and find something, you'll find something that you don't like, okay? There'll be something, there'll be one discrepancy out there. Does that discredit somebody's entire business? Absolutely not, okay? It's your decision to work out whether there's just something unethical or whether it makes them a fake guru, okay? But it's important that whoever you work with, you do your due diligence. That's a really hard word to say, or term to say, really quickly. But now I want to move on to online courses. And the issue with online courses, right? Let's say you've found somebody and they're credible and you want to follow them and you want to learn from them and you want to replicate their success and you want to take their online course. The first thing you need to establish with an online course is it going to teach you something you don't already know, or is it just filling a void, a non-existent void? Because many people out there, and we call them course hoppers, jump from course to course to course, right? They consume the exact same information again and again and again, and they don't get any further ahead. They're never successful. And it's not because of the information they're taking on board. In fact, they had that information years ago. The issue is the fact that it's their inability to actually take action on it. It's a void in their mindset, okay? And it's their mind that they need to fix, and they need to start taking action on the stuff that they're learning, because they already have the knowledge. So you really have to work it out. When you're trying to take an online course, you're thinking about taking one, do you already know the things that it's going to potentially teach you? Or are you just trying to fill a void that potentially doesn't exist, a void in your mindset and your ability to take action? Because if so, that's what you need to work on, and you need to start taking action on the stuff that you already know. You also, of course, need to establish that that course has a good success rate. But it's a whole big debate, this age-old debate in online courses, and many people discredit online courses because they say, oh, well, the success rates are so low. Of course they are. Do you know how low the success rates are in the gym? Do you know how low the success rates are in university, in college, in diets? Of course the success rates are low, because the success doesn't depend on the knowledge. It depends on the mind. It depends on your ability to take action. If you go to a gym, right, and you sign up, and in January you have hundreds of people sign up to the gym, how many of those people get ripped? How many of those people get slim, whatever their goals are, right? A very small minority of them. It's the people that actually action the stuff. Now, does that mean that the gym is unethical, is fake? That's a fake gym right there, okay? Do not go to that gym, it is fake because the success rate is low. No! It means that people don't have an ability to take action. It means that you have to implement this stuff, okay? Someone can provide you all the tools. They can give you everything you need to be successful. But if you don't take action on those tools, if you don't implement them, then you're never going to be successful. So it doesn't matter if an online course has a success rate of 50%, which would be incredible, 40%, 30%, 10%, or even 5%, right? It depends on the topic, depends on the complexity of the business, but ultimately it just depends on the individual. It depends so heavily on the person actually implementing the stuff that they have learned. And that's why the success rate will always be low in online courses, in university, in school, in college, in gyms, because they depend on the person, on the individual. So that age-old debate about online courses not working because their success rates are generally low is redundant, okay? Because any industry in the entire world that depends on people for their own individual success will have a low success rate. Because people love the idea of the result more than they actually like working for the result. But this doesn't take away from the fact that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of online courses out there with terrible, terrible teachings, with useless, regurgitated information. That doesn't take away from that whatsoever, because there genuinely are courses out there which are just absolutely horrific. And that's because the barrier to entry is so low, and anybody can make an online course these days, and there's no regulation within this industry. And this is one of the biggest problems I see within this industry, is the fact that there is little to no regulation. Now, I'm not one for the government jumping in here and just completely stripping everybody of their rights within this industry and putting one set rule on absolutely everything, but there needs to be some kind of control. There needs to be some kind of barrier to entry within this industry in the future. That's what I'm calling out for, because I think that it's not okay on any level to create training which doesn't actually teach or serve what you are saying it does, which doesn't actually deliver on what you say it does. There are so many people out there that overpromise and underdeliver. It's disgusting. And that's not all right, because as I said at the start of this video, you're selling to people who want to better their life, who want to improve something, who want to get out of a situation. So if you're going to sell to those people, you better make sure your shit works. You better make sure you do everything in your power to help your members succeed and be successful if they are willing to take action. And that's why we introduced this guarantee into our academy. We're the first ever company within the digital marketing agency niche to actually guarantee our members success. If they take action and they follow very, very simple targets over the course of a 30-day period and they don't get X result, they will get their money back. rightfully so, these people put their trust in me and our company to help them get a certain result. If they do everything we tell them to, if they implement everything, they follow our strategies and they do not get that result, we do not deserve their money. You wouldn't go to the gym and go to a personal trainer, right? And you're working out and you're trying to lose weight and you follow everything they say. You're working hard, you're eating well, you're following the rules, and you don't lose weight over that 3-month period, right? They don't deserve your money. You're going to kick off, right? So why do online course owners think it's okay to have communities of people actually trying hard and actually implementing the stuff and not having success, and they still take the money? That's not all right. That is where I'd love to see this industry change. And that's the biggest issue with online courses. It's the fact that whilst the majority of people do not take action on the stuff that they learn, there is a minority of people that do. And there's many of those people that aren't successful. There's many of those people that take action on the stuff because of shortcomings or because of bad luck or whatever. And in that instance, they didn't get the result that they were promised. And in that instance, they do not deserve to be robbed of their money. And I would love to see the industry change in that direction. And I'm hoping that what we're doing is going to pave a way for a completely different industry. And I think that comes very closely with this whole regulation thing. As I said, I don't want governments to suddenly be stepping in and this is going to be really, really regulated, but there needs to be some kind of barrier to entry. There needs to be some kind of due diligence on a greater level, beyond just having the consumer having to actually do their research. And I think that comes in the form of something like an accreditation, of some kind of certification that you need to legally be able to sell an online training program. And again, shameless plug, and I'm not just saying this because I want to plug what we've got. I'm saying this because I'm passionate about this. I'm saying this because this is the way that this industry needs to go. We recently got accredited by the CPD. The CPD is this global institution. They work with education companies and ensure that their training is of a world-class standard. They also work with universities and schools, and there's a reason why that training is executed in a certain way, because psychologically they can deliver the value better, they have learning summaries, things like that. There's a very strict criteria of what makes something proper educational value, right? And we wanted to follow that criteria when we launched the Affluent Academy, and that's why we have this accreditation now. It's something we pursued. It's something that on face value doesn't mean an awful lot to many people, because at the end of the day, people were just set on being sold on dreams. But to us, it means that we are moving in the right direction. It means that we are being the change that we want to see within this industry. Because ultimately, at the minute, the only credibility that people have is what colour their Lambo is how big their house is how much the materialistic stuff they own, right? Because that's what people are really being sold on. And that's one of the other issues. People are being sold on material things. They're buying into a course. If you're buying into a course because of the lifestyle that the guru that sells it owns, then you're buying into that course for the completely wrong reason. Do not buy into something because of how fantastic the teacher's lifestyle is, right? Because of how incredible the Lamborghini looks in the advert. And yes, I've got nice things. I have a nice house, I've got a nice car. I don't leverage that to sell though. That's my lifestyle, that's what I want to live, that's my personal life. Do not buy into an online course based on the materialistic things that you have seen from the owner. Just a massive, massive red flag. So guys, I'm gonna round this video up because I don't want to carry on rambling and ranting. I get so worked up over this topic. I'm passionate about it. I want this industry to change. There's so much that needs to change. And yeah, I'm not a fan of unethical marketing. I'm going to talk about unethical marketing in a future video. If you want me to create that video, by the way, guys, comment down below, unethical marketing. And also let me know what changes you think need to be made within this industry. What changes or what issues do you see that I haven't covered today that you would like to highlight? And yeah, I'm not interested in getting into like this slagging off match of like naming people and just going into this kind of whole internet rivalry thing. So let's not go down into the whole, I'm not going to start calling people out on this YouTube channel. That's not, like, other people are doing that and they're doing a fantastic job. If you're watching this, props to you. You're doing a really, really great job. I'm not into getting into that. So don't drop me down a comment telling me I need to call out someone. But I want to know what changes you think need to be made within this industry to help serve people better, to increase success rates. Because at the end of the day, I strive for a world where all aspiring entrepreneurs find success. I don't say that because it sounds good. I genuinely do, and I eat, sleep and breathe that within all of our businesses, within my marketing agency, within my online education business. We even have a guarantee of success within my marketing agency, but that's a conversation for another day. I genuinely strive for that. And if there's anything that I can do to help people be more successful, I will do that. I will continue to provide more free value on my YouTube channel than most people have in their online courses. If this is the first time you've watched one of my videos, I hope you have enjoyed it. Please do make sure you subscribe, smash the like button for me, and turn your notification bell on, because that's the only way you're going to get notified every time we bring out new content. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.